Hey everybody, Austin here. It's Monday morning, pre-market. This is a $10K to $1 million portfolio update. We're building this thing to $1 million transparently right here on YouTube and sharing every step of the way. We're coming off a great week. Last week we were up almost $10,000, up almost 18%, and the portfolio value is at $63,800. Overall, we're still down about $6,700. In total, we put $70,000 in, and so we've got a long way to go to get this thing to $1 million. Covered this on Friday, but the stocks in the portfolio had a huge week. Growth stocks rebounded, and so there's a lot of questions out there. Is this just a bear market rally? Is the market going to turn around and go down? I don't really think about it in that perspective. I'm a long-term investor. I want to grow significant wealth over time that makes a difference for my family, for the world, whatever, later on. And so I want to focus on owning the best companies. This isn't the only way to invest. People can do ETFs, index funds, value stocks, dividend stocks, all that different kind of stuff. Right now, I think there's great value and opportunity in the companies, the growth companies I own, because of how much they've sold off. And so that's why I own the stocks that I do. At some point when Snowflake and Crowdstrike and Datadog all, reach higher price sales multiples, more premium valuations, or, just grow to be much larger companies, then I'll certainly consider switching into more value or dividend paying stocks. But right now, I just don't think that switching makes sense at this point in the time frame for the portfolio and because of the valuations of these stocks. We do full portfolio updates on Fridays, so subscribe to the channel, like the videos if you want to see those. What I want to talk about today is just kind of how the pre-market is looking for the week. If there's anything crazy going on, I really don't care from a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so things are pretty flat. There's nothing here, in my opinion. It's just, nothing major. We don't need to sit here and stare at the market all the time. Couple news headlines that kind of are something to pay attention to, but also not just obsess about. NATO is set to increase the high readiness forces up to over 300,000 in a massive military buildup. In the next video, I'm going to do a quick video on whether I think there's opportunity in some of the defense contractors, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. So again, that video will be coming out today. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're interested in that, then just check that video out. And then, just more chaos going on in crypto. At some point, I think there's going to be opportunities in crypto. It's again something where at this point, with where they are in the journey, how much speculation there is, how much needs to be regulated, we don't even know truly which cryptocurrencies are here to stay, which isn't. Blockchain's a great technology, but are the cryptos that exist and the blockchains that exist, are those the ones that are gonna persist? People will say that they know, but in my opinion, nobody knows. And so investing in that space just requires a lot of caution and risk. Putting a percentage of your portfolio or wealth that you're comfortable with losing 50%, 80%, maybe 100%, I think is totally fine. There is certainly potential upside there, but going crazy is not something that I'm willing to do right now in crypto. And so that's kind of how I feel about crypto. At some point, it's going to emerge as an investable asset class, or it won't. And that's how I feel about it. Okay, and real quick, we'll just look at the stocks in my portfolio pre-market. Again, who knows what happens during the market. Some of these are delayed back, before 9 o'clock. Gitlab's up almost 5%. I don't see any news on any of these stocks, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on, and everything else is pretty kind of just normal. There is a little bit of news on Rocket Lab, and Rocket Lab's what we're talking about in this video. I've talked about it in previous videos. I did one previous video, my highest risk and highest reward holding. I'll link to it below, is on Rocket Lab. So I kind of talked about the upside there. So what I want to update right now is just a current mission that's going on with Rocket Lab. They've been preparing to launch this CAPSTONE mission, which is a mission to the moon for NASA. And essentially it's a microwave oven size cube satellite that's dubbed CAPSTONE to a never before flown orbit around the moon, blazing a new efficient deep space route that NASA hopes to use for future human spaceflight missions. And this is why this one's kind of a big deal, and a big deal for Rocket Lab, whether it works or not, it's a big deal. The CubeSat will be the first spacecraft to test the near rectilinear halo orbit, NRHO, around the moon. Researchers expect this orbit to be a gravitational sweet spot in space where the pull of gravity from Earth and the moon interact to allow for a nearly stable orbit, allowing physics to do most of the work keeping the spacecraft in orbit around the moon. NASA has big plans for this unique type of orbit. The agency hopes to park bigger spacecraft, including the Lunar Orbiting Space Station Gateway, in an NRHO around the moon, providing astronauts with a base from which to descend to the lunar surface as part of the Artemis program. And so Rocket Lab founder and CEO Peter Beck said this is Rocket Lab's most ambitious mission yet. For the first time, Electron and Photon, that's their launch systems, are going far beyond standard mission profiles, pushing the envelope of what's possible for interplanetary small spacecraft missions. No spacecraft has ever been placed in this type of orbit, so it's exciting to be working with such innovative partners in NASA, Advanced Space, and Terrain Orbital to make this groundbreaking mission possible. And so the update is that they had a launch window this morning, Monday, June 27th, but it's actually been delayed for additional systems checks. Rocket Lab has talked about how complex this mission is and how they want to get it right. They've also talked about the advantages of their launch sites and the fact that they own them. It gives them a longer window to be able to get launches off successfully. And so this could be taken as a positive or a negative. It's a negative in the sense that they were supposed to launch and they didn't. And if they don't, then, it could be problematic. But it's a positive in the fact that they're able to take the time they need, identify checks that need to be completed and complete them without trying to rush the mission or just cancel it, and then have some more time to do it because they own the launch site. And so, the next window is literally tomorrow. And then they have all the way until July 27th and still ensure that it reaches the moon by November 13th, which is when they're trying to reach the moon by. This mission has been delayed since 2021 due to COVID, and then just due to more checks needed for Rocket Lab. And so again, positives and negatives there. They really want to get this thing right. They don't want to waste the money. These launches are expensive. But if they are unable to do it, then that could be seen as a huge negative about their expertise, their technology, their strategy. And so in total, this is a $30 million mission. And then it's, during this flight, it's going to be as close to as 1,000 miles from the moon, and then as far out as 43,500 miles from the moon. So I'll keep updating on this channel, as this thing either successfully launches, they hit their windows, or doesn't. It's a stock that I own in the portfolio, as I just showed you. And again, high risk, high reward. Check that other video I did about kind of the upside potential for Rocket Lab, but also the risks, linked down below. If you want to help support this channel, it helps me out a ton if you like these videos, if you subscribe. And then I do write an email newsletter, austin.substack.com, also linked below, where I go deeper into stocks than I can do here on YouTube. So if you love that stuff, check it out. The links are in the description. All right, everybody, be sure to hit that next video on the channel. It's going to be about these defense contractors and if I think they're potentially a good buy or not. So subscribe and check it out. Thanks.